The Big Bang Theory is finally getting a proper spin-off after young Sheldon failed to stick to its premise as its original offshoot. In 2017, Chuck Lorre and Bill Prade's sitcom launched its very first expansion series that tackled Sheldon's childhood. Born out of Jim Parsons' character constantly sharing anecdotes from Texas, young Sheldon debuted Ian Armitage's version of the character and the rest of the Coopers. While it didn't quite get to be as popular as its parent series, it managed to keep the universe going for 5 more years after The Big Bang Theory ended. To take advantage of The Big Bang Theory's popularity, CBS launched Young Sheldon, set to function as the origin story for the beloved socially inept genius. The first few seasons of the series focused on his childhood in Medford, Texas, as he navigated school, the community, and even his family. While Armitage played the young prodigy, Parsons' older iteration did the narration that bookended almost every episode. Despite that, however, there was still a big disconnect between young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory. Now, however, Lorre is finally coming up with a proper offshoot to his nerd-centric comedy. Chuck Lorre is developing a Stewart-centric The Big Bang Theory spinoff. Stewart's spinoff will be set after The Big Bang Theory final. Before Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, there were already reports that Lorre was developing The Big Bang Theory spinoff. Work on the project was kept under wraps, with details about it only coming to light in late 2024. The new show will see Kevin Sussman return as Stuart Bloom, as he spearheads the new show. Ideally, someone from the main cast fronting a follow-up show would be ideal. But between his close ties to the Pasadena gang and relatively unexplored background, Stewart is the next best thing to leave a new show. Sussman was also briefly cast as Howard in The Big Bang Theory, but he had to bail out of it because of a prior commitment, which was shortly canceled after Simon Helberg was tapped to take over. Somehow, there's also something to be said about Sussman finally getting his time under the spotlight in a Lorre sitcom. Before he was cast as the sitcom's comic book shop owner who eventually grew closer to Sheldon and the Pasadena gang, the actor was actually in the running to play the socially inept genius, a role that ultimately went to Jim Parsons. That said, Sussman was also briefly cast as Howard in The Big Bang Theory, but he had to bail out of it because of a prior commitment, which was shortly canceled after Simon Helberg was tapped to take over. Why young Sheldon failed to become a proper The Big Bang Theory offshoot. Young Sheldon eventually outgrew its premise, and it's for the better. While plot specifics about Stewart's The Big Bang Theory spinoff are still under wraps, it's already shaping up to be a better spinoff than young Sheldon ended up being. Granted that the prequel tackled the origin story of the flagship's most popular character, it didn't take long before it outgrew its premise and became an ensemble. That isn't exactly a bad thing, however. Some of young Sheldon's best episodes were when the whole Cooper family was involved. Over time, the rest of Sheldon's clan also got their respective compelling arcs. That being said, looking at it as purely a The Big Bang Theory spinoff, it broke away from its parent show, both intentionally and unintentionally, that it's almost an entirely separate series. Proof of this was the petition for young Sheldon to fully abandon the established continuity. That would have included scrapping George's death. While Lorre didn't do this, it's worth noting that young Sheldon created many plot inconsistencies that it could have easily been set in an alternate reality if its creative team opted to prioritize its own narrative rather than honoring what came before it. Its ability to somehow continue young Sheldon's legacy is a testament to how far off its parent show veered from its original premise, considering how inconsequential Sheldon and even the events of The Big Bang Theory are to Georgie and Mandy's first marriage's weekly stories. Luckily, however, CBS was able to find a way to take advantage of young Sheldon's popularity until the very end by launching Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. While the new show is still in its freshman year and not posting the same viewership as its predecessors, it remains solid in its time slot. Its ability to somehow continue young Sheldon's legacy is a testament to how far off its parent show veered from its original premise, considering how inconsequential Sheldon and even the events of the Big Bang Theory are to Georgie and Mandy's first marriage's weekly stories.